Hello, everyone. It is Saturday, really early in the morning, the 6th of April, 2024. And if you follow the same calendar system as me, then it could also be seen as the second month of the year. And so it could be seen as 2-6. And they got the 12 in there. Got that. Anyway, just like a lot of interesting things. I was listening to a bit of Jaren overnight and early morning and Stinky Cash. And they have great content, and which led me into looking at comments and feedback on their shows, and seeing other people providing feedback and looking at their channels and getting even more interesting information. I was looking more into distances and calculations for different locations on Earth, comparing it with the Alex Gleason map, as opposed to the what we're being provided for the globe Earth map, and just looking at the calculations and the distances. And I was measuring again the flights, and looking at the average cruising speed of these alleged Airbuses that are used to conduct these flights and stuff like that. And even in areas that are within the Tropic of Cancer, significant distances, right? So like even yesterday when I was looking at, what was it? It was Durango, Mexico, which is like right off the equator or the equatorial line. And then I wanted to go complete opposite, but based on the Alex Gleason map. Again, it's like the closest for a visual representation of what I believe this Earth plane to be like. And then I wanted to go on the opposite end, which would be India. And like it was kind of looking like Agra, India would be kind of like the one that was closest to the equatorial line falling over India. That's directly on the could be on the other side of Agra, Mexico. Maybe it would be better if how come my pictures are not coming up? Just 1 second here. I think that maybe it's good if I just show you the Gleason map as I'm talking about this. But for some reason, even though I had it up, it's let's see if I can do that now. Okay, so this is just a visual representation. I'm not necessarily saying that this is what I believe the Earth to look like, but I'm definitely saying that this is closer to the truth than what we're being shown from Google Earth and from other maps. And there are, and actually Stinky Cash was talking about this yesterday in his video. Great video. So take a look at Stinky Cash's page. I highly recommend you do that. And Stinky Cash, his name is Jeff, but he says that because it's regarding the Federal Reserve. And he's been doing this for a very long time as well, just like Jaren. Stinky Cash has been doing this for 9 years, I think he was saying. And this is like also like one that he uses just to give a visual representation of what it could possibly look like. And even with the flight paths and stuff like that, it makes a lot more sense on this than it does on what we're being shown on Google Earth. And so you've got America, North America, you've got Mexico. If you look here, Tropic of Cancer. Oh, did I say equatorial line? Sorry, I meant to say Cancer. So I said at the beginning, I'm looking at areas that fall along the line of the Tropic of Cancer. And I'm also doing it with the equator as well, which is why I got confused with that. This is the, this is another version of the map. So these rings here, this is the sun's path on a daily basis and an annual basis. So this is the equatorial line. This is the Tropic of Capricorn, a wider line. And this is the, not line, circular path that it takes. And then the Tropic of Cancer, closer to the center of the Earth. North Pole, Polaris directly above, never moves. And the constellations and wandering stars go on a circular path in near perfect symmetry every day of the every day, every second, every minute, every hour, every year, every season. And because the sun has further to travel when it's further away from us within these northern regions here. So I've got like Russia, Canada, Greenland, Alaska. And the reason why it likely gets still quite cold in the North Pole is just because like the sun's rays, because it's Tropic of Cancer. So, yeah, so the sun travels like along this path, so it doesn't get like it doesn't travel over the top of these areas ever, right? So you're just getting the sun's rays, and you're seeing the sun obviously with, and that's the thing as well. People like talk about like how come you see the sun like in these areas? What the fuck? Like it's that because that's the sun's path. Like they're literally giving us this because like that's literally they're going off the sun's rays and where we see it rising and setting and stuff like that, and where it travels. I hope that makes sense. And so, for example, anything. This is the Tropic of Capricorn. Oh, damn it! Why does it keep on going out? This blue line here, the outer ring. So, I mean, if there is land, which I believe there is, like beyond the what is possibly like the what they're calling a continent, not a continent, but what they're calling Antarctica, I believe to be some kind of like a ring of like very high ice walls. And I'm not saying that that's what contains like the water or anything like that, because there's possibly like openings within these ice walls and stuff like that where you can go to other areas. And so, again, I'm just saying this is a great visual representation. And even the UN, their model has to do with like the more along the lines of this alleged map. And so the further you go away from the sun's path, like the colder it gets. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And the areas where there's great temperatures and weather all year round is in the areas where like the sun is it has like the most like it impacts those areas the most. It's either traveling overhead above the Tropic of Capricorn or Cancer, or the equatorial line. And so very great, seasons and stuff like that, or like further away from the from it on its path, and where you're getting like the colder weather and stuff like that as well. And all interesting stuff. People hate on me for like I was gonna say people hate on me because like I obviously don't believe that this is what the Earth looks like. This is Peterson's projection map, and I only use this example when I share and discuss because of the size of the continents. This may be closer regarding like the size of the actual land masses on Earth, as opposed to what, yet again, like Google Earth and all these other globe Earth model people are pushing. And when we know, for example, that even Africa is much larger than what we're being led to believe, Greenland smaller, etc. And so if you like wrap this into a friggin' circular or whatever you want to call it, flat plane, that then like there's, I don't know, make it cuter. This is Santos Bonacci's wheel. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing now. Bump this up. Grand Rising. I'm on the outskirts of Ottawa, and I will be not directly under the path of the eclipse, but if I wanted to drive like half an hour away, then I would be like directly under the path, and there will be family directly under the path of the eclipse, and there are people actually going to Niagara Falls and countless other places throughout the U.S. to see to be on the path. I was going to talk about that today, actually, about the eclipse and possible impacts to solar panels and electrical like vehicles that are connected to panels or anything like that. Because like when the eclipse happens, like even when it's not a total eclipse, then this is a time where like you're stopping that like that magnetic radiating energy, like it's being stopped, and so these are times when again like this energy is being absorbed. Like so even Dr. Nago Luongo from Old World, Florida, he was saying that when he saw the eclipse a couple of years ago, his van had huge issues because it was running off of solar panels, and people's phones, like even his girlfriend at the time, like apparently her phone like completely died that day because they were in the area of the eclipse. So the only thing I say is I absolutely say do not be panicked. First of all, even if you are in a high stress area or situation, I mean, panicking is like the worst thing you could do, right? In any situation. And so I say remain calm. If you have any solar power, like any solar powered devices or devices that could be possibly impacted, because of the eclipse for a few hours, just unplug things. So again, like not a big deal. Like there might be disruptions, at grocery stores or stores and stuff like that, or at work, right? So I would just say, just be aware, be patient. Like there might be disruptions, just literally not because of anything fucking crazy, but because of just natural things that happen, like that when these eclipses happen. And it even happens when there's not total eclipses. And so these are all just like what I think that, like, again, with the sun and the moon, people don't like talking about it too much, but these could possibly be like hot fusion and cold fusion, electrical gravitational, some kind of like plasma luminary, as opposed to a magnetic radiating positive luminary, like the cold and the hot. And I was also doing like sacred geometric patterns and shapes again yesterday, like some friggin' weird. And I was looking at, because women it's XX and men it's XY for chromosomes. And then when I like overlay them, I was like, oh, that's interesting that when you look at the positive and the negative, positive is a cross, and then you've got negative for masculine or feminine, or positive or negative, or radiating versus gravitational, or magnetic versus electrical, which I think are two forces. So I think we need to adjust the laws of physics based on that. And other great scientists and astronomers and mathematicians from the past we're arguing the same thing. But anyway, when you do the X, okay, which is for women, we have XX chromosomes, and then you put the negative sign overlaid on it, okay, it does like an X and then a line. And when you connect them, that also makes a six-sided pentagram. And so I wanted to show just a picture of that, and which also forms a cube. And so there's a lot of people that talk about square Earth, which really pisses people off, like Jeff. And I get where he's coming from. It's so funny because he's an actual academic, and so when he hears things that sound nonsensical, like at this point, because he's been doing this for so long, he's heard so many fake flat earthers or disingenuous flat earthers, or people that just looked at YouTube videos and really don't fully grasp like the academic aspect of flat Earth, or like the physics aspect of it, or they're coming at it from like a more religious angle. All of that stuff, like it's frustrating for him, because he's actually done a lot of like the mathematics and the astronomical observations, and he's done videos about this, so it's not even like he's lying, for years. And showing like the path of the sun and the moon and the other luminaries, and how it could possibly be like, again, like, well, I mean, not possibly, like where it's likely connecting this divine clock and making it operate. So this is what I was talking about. So when you do an X and then a line through it, and you connect it, it forms a hexagon. Did I say pentagon or pentagram? I don't remember what I said, but anyway, a six-sided hexagon. I hope I said that right. And a dodecahedron. I don't know if this is dodecagon. I don't know what that is, but I have two dodecahedrons downstairs. That's fake gold, but like gold colored, like to connect the dodecahedron. Like it's 12 sides, and so that's interesting as well, because when you look at this flat Earth plane, it could possibly be some kind of like a circular shape. Okay, not a fucking globe or a ball. I'm saying circular shape, right? Because even cones and cylinders have circular bases. Just reiterate, a plate has a circular base. It's not a globe. Like the more sides you get, but they have to be sides with measurements that can actually fit with inside the actual like polynomial, or whatever you want to call it, shape itself. So like all these shapes from within have to also fit with perfect symmetry with inside as well, right? So like so like you can even create other shapes inside things like the dodecahedrons or the hexagons, etc., like I've said. And so all interesting things. And then you've got the 120 degrees, 6 sides, the 720 or the 27 and the 0. So there's a lot of secret numbers, or numbers that are used in different occult groups. And I think that there are people that utilize different, or think that there's varying degrees of significance for their own groups regarding different numbers, like even like the golden ratio, the Fibonacci spiral, the number 33. These are all very common in some occult groups. The 2701, because of the 73 and the 37 being mirror images and like perfect numbers in some occult groups as well. And so many different like divine, shapes and numbers that correspond to 37, 73, with hexagons being formed and triangular numbers. And anyway, it's all interesting stuff to me. And then also with Jesus dying on the cross, because I don't mean to offend people, I do believe that there could have possibly been a man named Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people named Jesus or Jesus in the world even now. And so there's like, I'm not saying there possibly, like, I'm not saying that I don't necessarily believe that there was a Jesus of Nazareth, for example, but what I'm saying is within the Bible, the figure that they're mentioning as Jesus is, it's based on an allegory. It's based on truth, but not on facts. And it's a representation of the sun, just like the Phoenix and Mithras and Dionysus and Horus and Apollo and so many other deities and prophets and like even Caesar has like a lot of like similarities to like the story of Jesus and Pythagoras and others, right? And so he died on the cross. But that also, like when you do the cross, like that's also a positive sign. And so when we look at the sun, like that could be like a positive sign is what I mean as well, and the moon being like the negative sign or the line, and so Jesus does technically die on the cross, right? Like this positive sign on the 21st of December of every single year. So not during Easter or any of that stuff. And Easter, again, this is a pagan or a much older spiritual teaching interpretation of the luminaries, and Easter being like this like representation of like the spring period, in more in my humble opinion, and when we're more fertile, where Jesus was conceived, the sun, because even so if you conceive a child, so if the last day of your period for a woman for conception calculators, if on the 20th of March you conceive, have sex, and you become pregnant, your due date is on the 25th of December as well, which is on the 21st of December is when the sun dies, is when it's on the lowest point in the sky, or 23.4 degrees south latitude on the Tropic of Capricorn. And then it stays, and when it, like on that area, it stays at that lowest point where we have like the longest amount of days and shortest amount of night. Sorry, correction, opposite of that, we have the longest nights in the what we're calling the northern hemisphere, and the shortest amount of days for 3.5 days, and then on the 25th, rising again from the lowest points, from death to birth, rebirth, reincarnation, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Sorry for swearing. I really need to stop swearing so much. My career, though, and my life has just been like a series of like being like, it's intense. And so like I'm not a yoga instructor. I wish I was, because I'd be like more leveled out with this stuff. But anyway, there's more I can talk about with that. But on with presenting some things, I guess. Since I'm talking about the eclipse, I wanted to give you what a Native American Navajo leader, what he's going to share about it. I didn't watch the whole thing yet. I watched just a little bit, and I liked it, so I'm just going to play the whole thing.
And the eclipse is, they say, Jihuna e da sun, which is to say the sun has died. During that time, we have to show reverence and respect to the order that the holy people have established. That has to occur to put everything back in balance. And it is also a time when we as the children of the holy people have to make new promises, new commitments to the holy people as to how we live our lives.
New beginnings, new commitments.
Se bio jos kaartos iti poltsite but nini da sandolle e shi e hadi bada hui net olle to but I don't know internet e shi ha sin so ni get that hit after. And the teachings of our people, we say when we greet one another, yat e, and that means on the surface of Mother Earth and everything in the universe, it is good. The universal hand sign among Native people was to point to the heart and then open the hand and move the hand away and say that from my heart, everything on the surface of Mother Earth is good.
It's flat.
So the word yat e that we use as a greeting means it is good.
I don't know.
But the teaching that we're going to share with you concerns the eclipse. But the teachings of our people concerning the eclipse, there are many, many teachings in that associated with the event of the solar eclipse. It is that we are told that we as a people, we came from above, and then we came down to the surface of Mother Earth. And that's what the name that we call ourselves, De.
Interesting.
Ne. The Ne is what we call ourselves, and that means from above to the surface of Mother Earth. And so the relationship that we have or have to have is with not only our families and our kinship of people, but also we have a kinship to Mother Earth and to Father Sky. And so it is very important to be aware of what happens in the Yadachik, is what we call the sky or the universe or the void. And also we call the Mother Earth the surface place. Ka. And so the teachings that apply to our observation of the eclipse
The surface
is to
place
know that the
and the
most
negative sign
powerful
for
thing
female.
in our
Interesting.
existence that we can see and touch and taste and feel and all these different things actually have their source from the sun. And the sun is actually, when our prayers are said by our old people, they say, Johana Eshatha, which is to say, the sun, my father. But a lot of people don't understand that the sun, as we see it in the sky, is a symbol of the maker, of the father of us all. It is a symbol. And so the sun gives light, and it lights up everything. And it makes it so that we have to understand without the sun, there is no life. And so that brief moment when we recognize the sun and as a symbol of our creator or our maker, we call the sun Shatra, which is to say, my father.
It should be sun and moon.
And
though.
the
Significance with the moon
teaching
well.
is that the Father is the one that provides all things for us as the five-finger being. He provides us with joy, happiness, confidence, and peace. But we have to decide if we want joy, happiness, confidence, and peace. Is what we were told. And the eclipse is, they say, which is to say, the sun has died. And so during that particular time where the sun has died, there's a lot of symbolism.
So there could be like around this time as well, like during like the new moon period, during like the springtime as well. This could be like when like people have like their what they're calling like the Easter where Jesus dies. It could be during this period as well. So like this is another, because they say that Jesus died 33, which I don't believe, but like 33 years and 4 months. And so this is what I mean. Like, I think that people are just misinterpreting astrotheosophy and astrotheology, I guess, and the luminary's path. And because there's even different, there's different, a little bit different variations of like, even with like the moon, which by the way, on Monday, moon day, Selene, Artemis, the twin of the sun, all of these things, it's on moon day that this totally new moon eclipse is happening. So that's also very interesting. And there are people that believe that there is a 13 full moon period during a year, depending on when you start your calendar, your calendar year. And there are different cultures and civilizations that follow a lunar calendar, and there are people that follow a solar calendar. And so if you're trying to combine the both, I don't know why you would do that, because like no advanced civilizations have ever done that. And so it's either one or the other, right? Because they have their own distinct cyclical paths, whatever you want to call it, that they make, and they are different from each other, right? And so most people do know that. I have said that during the full moon and the new moon periods, which I thought was super cool. Like it goes in a sequence, right? So if you have like a new moon in like, let's say for example in Aries, which we are having, then the following month the new moon would be in Taurus, and then the following month after that the new moon would be in Gemini, and then it would be in Cancer, then it would be in Leo, then Virgo, and then and so on. And the same thing for the full moons. If you have a full moon in Aries during like 1 month, like if the full moon is in Aries, then the following month it's going to be in Taurus, and then Gemini, and then and it goes like that as well, which is very interesting. And so there are people that believe that look at the 28 times 13 for the 364, and then they add in a day, just like they do for like the lunar, which is why we have leap years. Sorry, for the solar, like for the solar calendar, where we add in a day every 4 years. We're in a leap year now, which there's also a huge significance of a leap year as well in different occult groups where, oh my God, also I've talked about this in other videos because I was the first one to talk about the eclipse, the total eclipse, out of any of the stuff that I've been following or tracking. Like I've been following astronomy and astrology for years, my entire life, for various different reasons, even for navigation in the infantry and stuff like that. But even as a kid, yeah, like these were very important, especially knowing like the illumination of the moon, for example, at night, if you're doing reconnaissance or night patrols and stuff like that. Like it matters, right? If you're going to be doing a raid or an ambush or clearing areas or whatever, and it's fucking full moon out, right? Like you're not really under the guise of darkness. Anyways, and weather matters and stuff like that as well. Anyways, I'll let him keep talking.
And teachings and that associated with that event. It is that during that time we have to show reverence and respect to the order that the holy people have established.
Oh, and then if you track like the moon, like in astronomical mathematics books and other books where there's a lot of science and like it talks about the sun's travel path, like even through the like equatorial plane or area is what I meant to say, and so it's 29.53 days is what it's calculated at. That's like the general consensus for people that in the experts bubble communities where they're looking at everything, and so I believe it's 29.53 degrees, and 23.53 days on its path, and that's another reason why with the 29, I prefer that number for so many different reasons, because I'm obsessed with numbers and gematria, and my birthday's on the 29th, and I love the moon, and so like for me, like I like I find it very interesting with like the 13 sections of a turtle's shell, and then the 28 other shells that surround it and stuff like that, and I think that's neat, and but with like the 29.53, like I like the 29 again because it's another connection to my birth chart. It's just so fucking egotistical. I know, but whatever.
And so that has to occur to put everything back in balance and realignment. And it is also a time when we as the children of the holy people have to make new promises, new commitments to the holy people as to how we live our lives. And so the event after the solar eclipse occurs, that it is like a coming back to life, a rebirth, and the time when we have to recognize that at some point in time we will all pass into the next world, we will die, but we also have to understand that we will be made alive again, and we will be renewed in the next world. And so the teachings are in alignment with the teachings of the holy people as to show us that the sun dies and then the sun comes back to life again.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And so during that time,
in a lot of videos, indoctrination images. Yeah, you're not wrong. Mr. Navajo keeps showing the ball earth. God, you goddamn you, Mr. Navajo. Shame on you. No, these are all good points that I like to bring up as well, because like in so much, so like in social media feeds and everything like that, we see this friggin' globe earth. This, even with Alex Jones. Okay, and he talks about the globalists and stuff like that, and he has freaking globes behind him, like during his is it InfoWars or whatever. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not criticizing him at all. Like, he shows good content. But I had someone yesterday comment, because I had said about, now I'm on a tangent, but I was talking about James O'Keefe possibly being controlled opposition, and because I'm like, what? Because he was saying that he's had a lot of adversity and stuff like that, and as someone who's gone through like cops fucking harassing me and other cops too, like Helen Bruce and stuff like that. Like I'm saying, there's hero cops in Ottawa, and they are getting like tortured and punished by loser cops. And I've said, like, I've had to file third-party complaints and stuff like that. Like, so many things I don't want to talk about anymore. But James O'Keefe, like, he's allegedly gone through stuff. And I'm like, I'm calling bullshit because I don't know. There's Bohemian Grove, like things that he's done and people that he's like possibly used. It's just very interesting and compelling. That angle and situation. I've already shared that on other videos. And people believe that the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial was real. They think that the Donald Trump trials have been real, or the Alex Jones one is what I'm saying. And what I keep saying is I hate to break it to you, and I mean no offense in this, but if you think those trials were not anything but a circus for the clowns, then you're not really tuned in to reality, the actual reality, right? And so like I talked to a lot of truthers, so like I'd be very interested in your opinion on this, because this was another truther that was trying to call me out with a friggin' timestamp, and I don't even know how to do that yet, like how to timestamp things, but saying like, oh, James O'Keefe has gone through all this stuff, and I'm like, if you actually believe that just because like there's some videos or footage of like possible like law enforcement interactions, this is stuff that's also fucking staged and planned. I've said this, like law enforcement, like firefighter, like not fire, Muslim crisis actors too, like pretending that they're firefighters, so that's true, paramedics, and shit like that, and they've gotten way more advanced. And so I've shared what happened January 6th, the Freedom Convoy, 9/11, JFK, all of that fucking stuff. So if you think that they're not just finding ways to appease the masses, like, oh yeah, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, like they're on, like she's, getting it good, or he's getting it good. And then with Trump, and people that hate him, they're loving that entertainment. Okay. And the people that, like the people that hate to love him, love it. The people that, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It just causes division. There are people that don't like what Trump is going through. And I've even called out. I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of bullshit regarding these court proceedings and like things that have never happened before. And they're targeting him with this stuff. And it's causing more fuel for the fire. And so that's another reason why I'm like, you know what? This is bullshit. This is just clown court. They're lying to us. That's why there's like so much drama. Like, oh, she's sleeping with him and he's sleeping with her. And we're all fucking talking about that too. Well, you're not seeing the money transactions that are happening. You're not seeing the money transactions that are happening during these times, and who the money transactions are happening by. And I'm talking about for Alex Jones and for Donald Trump and stuff like that. So you think that all these people, like my mother hates it when I swear. That's why she doesn't really like watching my videos ever. And I get it. And she gets a direct line of contact anyway. So if she has any questions about anything, she usually just calls. And she's like, this is so convenient. She's like, anyway. Yeah, I don't think they were real. I think that they're now, there's so many judges and lawyers that are bought and bribed and have even given lenient sentences or just completely dropped court cases with actual fucking pedophiles. Part of like huge drug rings and human trafficking rings. Like they're like I'm sorry. I'm not buying any of it. I'm not buying any of it. I think it's just for drama. Politicians now, our elected officials, are fucking celebrities. They're not qualified to do the jobs. This has been a joke. People are having sex in cabinet. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, not even close, but there are lines in the sand. My swearing and stuff like that, I like just there are lines in the sand, and I fell on my sword, and countless other, not countless, but there's like a small percentage of people that were within government in Canada and internationally, we fell on our fucking swords, and we're still getting punished, and we're still in the courts, hell and Bruce. Just on the 25th of March, another court hearing, just a day, it's been years, to dismiss one of the prosecutors because of so many ethics violations, investigations, tampering with evidence, putting witnesses on the stand that were like the sisters of like the husbands, so many different things. And I just want to read the comments first. Not all these famous peeps. Bad news. Got to silence them if possible. The juice. Yeah, I don't, and there's a lot of people that think that, and from the court hearings, like there's no proof of him ever, of him ever like physically abusing not only Amber Heard. And the only reason, and I don't even know why I know this shit. Like this is what I mean. It's such useless stuff. I wasn't even following the case. I was just following the stuff that made me think that this was just a circus, because like she was wearing like the same outfits or very similar to what Johnny Depp was wearing the day before and stuff like that. And they were wearing like the fucking bees, like different different pins and stuff like that, which also, like when you look at pins that people, and lapels and stuff like that people are wearing, whether they're in cabinet or set it or like speaking, these matter. It very much matters, and people need to pay attention to that a little bit more too. But I'm gonna let this Native American Navajo guy keep talking. I feel bad, but he's also part of the brainwashing, right? So like he probably doesn't realize, even though, you know, it is like he probably doesn't understand or realize that the earth is flat, because he's probably like all this globe earth shit got like all this incestuous bullshit, it trickled its way into the native reserves, which is unfortunate.
Time period.
Because like, I mean, if, oh my god, it's unfortunate, all the history they lost. Oh my god. And that's with teepees too. Fun fact, not fun, but during like periods, there's been like colonization happening all over the world throughout the dawn of time. And a way of preserving their history was in teepees. Different families would share different artwork inside the teepees and outside, in order to tell the story of like the land, of the like the history of like their traditions, of their culture, of the earth, the reality of it, and the phases of the moon and stuff like that as well were woven into the designs, in different colors utilized as well, and a lot of similarities of different designs all over the world, like even like ancient times, very similar patterns, very similar images all over the world.
We are to remain indoors and to understand that
Whoever built that.
was the Sendo, which means it is a sacred time, and we must keep all things sacred in recognizing the event. And so as we sit indoors, we are quiet. We don't laugh foolishly. We don't joke around. And we take the time to think what the holy people have provided us with as far as our environment here on the surface of Mother Earth. And that all life is given by the holy people and by our Father, Nikita. So the teaching of being quiet and being reverent, being respectful, is very important. And to take the time to make new commitments. In the old days, when the eclipse was taking place, or after the eclipse had occurred, our people would sing songs, inasen, which is life song, or niichisen, which is the songs of birth or rebirth. And then also the other songs in that involve the protection song, self-protection song, achasan, and also achansotazan. These prayers and songs were sung and said by our people during the time when the eclipse of the sun occurred. And so there was a lot of reverence and respect in keeping things sacred during that time period. And we were told never to look at the sun. And even during the eclipse, that you do not look. It will make you blind, or it can cause other sicknesses. And it is that we are told, even when there is an absence of the sunlight for that brief amount of time, that there is an effect.
Like maybe they think that if you look at it, like because of the draining of the energy, that like your sun energy or your magnetic energy will be drained if you look at it. But also like when it's completely totally like blocked, when the sun, like when you start seeing the sun, the brightness, the intensity actually is magnified. So people actually do get burns on their eyeballs if they look at it for extended periods of time. There are people that sun gaze all the time, and so they're absolutely used to sun gazing, and so they may not be as impacted. But if people are not used to sun gazing at all or anything like that, like I would not recommend. Anyway, it's not my business. If you're a grown ass adult, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I don't be drunk, be stoned, look at it. Like it's up to you. I'm not I'm not going to tell you what to do, but
on the earth, on Mother Earth.
and it's on a leap
so
year.
we are to understand that all things.
It's going to be the 99th day of the year for this eclipse.
Things that happen on the surface of Mother Earth actually come from Father Sky. So if there was going to be a massive destruction, it would come from above. And here in our environment, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. We, as the children of the holy people, are right in the middle. It is that particular place that we are to maintain balance, that there be beauty before us, behind us, below us, above us, and all around us, and to recognize that our holy people, they want us
The sun is traveling on the equatorial path
to have joy, happiness, confidence, and peace in our existence here. And so they give us signs, they give us events where we can make new commitments, and make new promises, and to improve our lives as we make our life, and to make correct choices. And so today there are so many things that are different, that the way that people are looking at the sun, they have these special glasses and that, and a special type of equipment to view the eclipse. And it is that people are free to do what they need to do or want to do. And we, as the net, don't impose our beliefs and our understanding of things on other people. But it is that we can say, take the time to understand this is a renewal, and to renew your efforts in your life, and to be able to experience joy, happiness, confidence, and peace in the things that you do, and the things that you think of, the things you plan, and the way you live your life, with the idea of hope and faith. And these are the teachings that we receive based on all of the things that we are told.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. There's just like a lot of parallels with different religions and the Jesus Christ story as well, in my opinion, that I'm connecting with the eclipse. And being in Aries too. Aries, the new moon in Aries that's happening on Monday, this total eclipse, that's the start of the calendar season. If you look at the astrological wheel, if you look at what I believe and countless others about the spring equinox being the start of the calendar year, when the sun enters into Aries. Okay, and so they're looking at like Easter and stuff like that, and anyway, there's just a lot of interesting things that I just keep on being redundant about, and so I'm gonna stop that. I want to still talk about the eclipse though. CERN firing up for the solar eclipse April 8th, looking for ghost particles. For ghosts.
The other day, I read on the BBC pages that CERN will look for ghost particles, and that, quote, scientists think they found a way to prove whether or not these ghost particles exist, end quote. I know you expect me to say it's all bullshit, but I must disappoint you. I think it's a good idea. Let's have a look. At first, I thought the article was about what particle physicists call ghosts. These ghosts are mathematical structures that they use in some models to avoid problems with the calculation. But these ghosts are not what the CERN experiment is looking for. It'd be pretty crazy because you can't measure them. They're not real. That's why they're called ghosts. My second thought was that this is a weird way to say they're looking for particles called neutrinos, because the popular science press often refers to them as ghostly. That's because they just go through everything. Yes, neutrinos also go through you as we speak at a rate of about 100 trillion or so per second. The vast majority of them come from the sun, though if you have a nuclear power plant near you, maybe you get some from there too. A little hello from your neighbor plutonium. Neutrinos are not what CERN wants to look for either, though. My third thought was that it's a spin on this other story about ghosts at CERN, but that turned out to be about something else entirely, namely resonances of bound states. My fourth thought was that they seem to have a lot of ghosts at CERN, and maybe they should do something about it. Finally, I figured out that the BBC was writing about a new experiment called Search for Hidden Particles.
So this is the X, an X, and this is the negative sign or the line or whatever. And so you could do the circle like the astrological wheel, but if you, I mean, if you do it properly, if like you connect, that's the hexagon.
That includes particles which could make up dark matter or dark energy. This experiment has been in the planning for about 10 years or so, and the news is that it got the go-ahead. And no, it's nothing to do with the bigger collider that they hope to build. It actually won't even use the Large Hadron Collider. Instead, it'll use a proton beam from a different...
So that's another thing too. So with the astrological wheel, I almost forgot to even mention that. I almost like with the dodecahedron or whatever you want to call it, this 12-sided possible shape of the Earth. I don't know. Again, being flat plane of inertia. But when you do the lines for the 12 astrological signs, actually maybe I'll just show you that. When you connect them, that makes the people say it forms a circle, but I could also argue that it also forms the dodecahedron. Why is it not showing? This is just again like another discussion. Like this is open for debate, obviously, you know. So this shape right here, the 12 sides, like could also possibly be like when you connect the astrological wheel. Is that it? If anyone's interested in this stuff. That's actually, anyway, incorrect. I'm just going to pull up the astrological wheel here. Because of course, there we go. So this, it's actually the thumbnail, but if you do the line, like that, instead of the circle, that's what I mean. You know. And some people also believe, fun fact, that Ophiuchus is possibly the 13th zodiacal sign because of the heel be touching the path of the sun, like just barely like touching the heel, and possibly being like what God's looks like. Again, that's just another theory. Like I'm not saying that that's anything I'm committed to. It's just interesting.
Accelerator at CERN, the Super Proton Synchrotron SPS for short. The SPS is the pre-accelerator for the LHC, the opening act, so to speak. It reaches a...
Mike, what do you mean that the moon is nowhere near during the eclipse? Actually, I can show you a video from Jaren because they like the luminaries follow like a very similar path and they're very close. So like the moon and Venus and Mercury are very close to the sun during that period, and Mercury, it's already retrograded, or it's going to soon. For anyone that like is also tracking that stuff. Anyway, and Mercury also possibly like some kind of like impact, or also what's possibly assisting with like the blocking during that transit. Mercury being the only of the 7 original luminaries to be considered to be hermaphroditic or androgynous, like being a sun and moon equivalent, and then and Mercury being correlated with the element Mercury, and Mercury being mixed with things like silver or gold is also very interesting when you look at that, and that's correlated with the color blue, Woden's Day, the throat chakra, the 5th chakra, Virgo and Gemini. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be close during like the, actually, maybe I'll show you the stellarium if I can get it on my, Jaren was showing it. Like he actually has a good video where he was showing like the path of the sun, the moon, and the other luminaries. If you look at stellarium, like you can look at it. Again, it's not going to be perfect, and that's based on a fucking globe Earth model, I know, but I'm just saying like just to track the constellation, that's a good app. But
of about 5 GeV. The new ship experiment, so the plan will use the SPS beam, but not for head-on collisions, but to dump it into a target made of tungsten cladded with tantalum. These are two of the heaviest non-radioactive elements. The point of doing this is that while these collisions with the target will be of much lower energy than those between the proton beams at the Large Hadron Collider, it'll make many more of them. So if there are any particles that are fairly low energy but are produced very rarely, that's the way to look for them.
Actually, I'm going to let
this experiment makes sense because some of what I'd call the most plausible dark matter candidates are of the sort that they could find. Yes, dark matter may not exist, but if it does exist, then in recent years the evidence has noticeably shifted from fairly massive particles that they looked for at the LHC but didn't find, to very light particles or X-ion or those making up fuzzy dark matter, which the ship experiment could find. The major reason for this shift is that these particles all have quantum properties, meaning they are also waves. And the lower the mass of the particle, the larger its wavelength. For particles of masses so low that the ship experiment could find them, the wavelength can be the size of galaxies. Yes, crazy stuff, but true. This is interesting because that way we could get noticeable quantum effects in the dark matter stuff that solve some problems. For example, they prevent the density in galactic cores to come out higher than observed. This is a typical problem for dark matter made of heavy particles. If the particles are light enough, quantum uncertainty avoids that. The equipment of the ship experiment has been in trials for several years. It's supposed to be completed in the next 5 years or so, and then to start running around 2030 or so. It'll, of course, not, as the BBC wrote, prove whether or not those ghost particles exist, because you can always say they're just a little more weakly interacting. So,
okay, I'm not going to show the whole thing. So I'm going to show you stellarium. It's I already put it to, so you can see right here, April 8th, around 12:47 p.m. Let's go. There. So you'll see Jupiter. Oh, hold on. Got Venus during this time, the moon, the sun. So like it looks close, during this time. And then you've got Mercury also. I said Venus. Jupiter, where's friggin' Mercury? Just curious. Okay. So Mercury, let me see. Let's go down an hour. Let's go to 12:40. Okay, let's go 11:40. Okay, so now we go up. Boom. 12:40. Okay. Just showing you the path. And again, it depends on where you are, obviously. So just gonna roll it through. So this is the we're more equal amount of day and nights, where we're going more in towards the in the northern hemisphere. We're going more in towards our summer months now. Yay us! Soon at its peak on the 21st of June, not 21st of June. Okay, so let's see. So the sun okay. So the moon's now getting further away. Okay, by the 12th. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm having fun with that, but I do want to share another video. I mean, no offense in sharing this stuff. I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong with anything. I'm not even sure I'm right with the Stellarium path and stuff like that. And there's other apps out there. I'm just a truther. And so when people ask me questions about the moon and the sun's path and stuff like that, if I'm able to, then I want to show you. I don't mean any like it's not to try to make anyone look a certain way. Oh, is this the one I want? No, I want to show the Canadian one. Damn it! I want to show you a Canadian flat Earth test that was done. Because of course I'm from Canada and I love Canada. You know, this is from Taboo Conspiracy, also another friggin' amazing channel that I highly recommend. That has videos that are just so amazing. I don't know if this is anyways, I think it's a man because of the voice, but great content. I can't make videos this good. Like I have smarts, but I don't have like that friggin' like even Stinky Cash and so many others. Like they make such good videos. I don't know how the frig they do it.
You're about to watch may cause you to open your eyes, throw off the yoke of your indoctrination, and realize the Earth is actually flat. Viewer discretion is advised. But please, try this at home, and then share it with the rest of us.
Oh yeah, I want to watch a video on Eclipse. If he's got something on the Eclipse stuff, I'm definitely going to be taking a look at that. Thanks for that. I'm going to...
Welcome, everyone. I'm back with another dispositive proof of our flat Earth. To quickly recap, we had a laser test across the Great Salt Lake at a distance of 34 kilometers or 21 miles. According to the globe math, this laser source and its reflection should have been 223 feet or 68 meters below the supposed globe geometric horizon. We also had a laser test across Utah and Idaho at Bear Lake at a distance of 19 miles. With that test, the laser source and its reflection should have been hidden 173 feet below the globe curvature. I personally conducted both of these tests, and despite what the propagandists say, these tests were conducted honestly and exactly as I claimed in the videos, and I've conducted many other tests as well, all proving that water actually lays flat when it's undisturbed, and that there is no imaginary globe curvature hump caused by gravity. But one of the common naysayer objections is that these laser tests, and most of the others that I've shared, are across bodies of water, as though the alleged huge mounds of gravity-curved water simply vanish without a trace just because the test was conducted over a body of water. That makes no sense. Regardless, you're in for a treat today because this next laser test was across a very flat land. As always, you don't have to believe me or anyone, as you can go out and do these laser tests yourself. Strangely, I couldn't call myself a flat earther until I filmed it myself back in early 2016. I had to see it with my own eyes. So, I encourage you to do it yourself, and you will never hear a globe propagandist tell you the same. This laser test was conducted by Mike from the YouTube channel, Mikey Smith. I'll have a link in the description. Please head over to his channel and give him your support. As you can see from the title, this laser test was conducted along railroad tracks adjacent to Highway 33 in Saskatchewan, Canada. I know, it's a 33. No, I'm not a Mason, and I certainly don't support Freemasonry. Mike also confirmed that he is not a Mason and far from it. It just happens Highway 33 is one of the flattest and straightest roads anywhere. In fact, the Norwegian name of this area is translated as Flat Place. At least they knew. But here's an interesting point from Wikipedia. The highway runs along a somewhat famous rail line. The Regina Section Branch Line was the longest piece of straight track worldwide and still has the claim of being the longest straight track of North America. Highway 33 follows along this surveyed rail line. In other words, this rail line has been surveyed flat, and that's why it's a perfect place for flat Earth testing over land. For the very astute flat Earth researcher, maybe you remember Highway 33. It's the same road used by this globe-loving bicyclist as a propaganda video. Of course, the bicyclist did not actually do anything to measure whether there was a curvature of the Earth, but only relied on a presupposition of how the sun works, and sticks and shadows that can be explained by either a globe or a flat Earth model. Yet, this video has over 3.6 million views. Ridiculous, but that's your YouTube algorithm steering people away from true flat Earth videos.
Oh my God, that's what I say this a lot. Like channels like Jaron, Sean Hibbler, Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, Dave Weiss, Sticky Cash. There's so many I'm not mentioning, but like they deserve like millions of subscribers and views and stuff like that. Especially when I look at like other channels and content that gets shared, and they're getting those views. That's why I'm saying like there are people getting those views for retarded videos. Like no offense, like stupid shit. Oh my God, just like the stupidest shit, the stupidest stuff, and millions of views, and even like no offense, but like even people like Dylan Mulvaney and like whatever that other guy's name was, millions of views, and it's just like what the fuck, like it's ass backwards. It really is.
Que sera, sera. Simply stated, sticks and shadows will not determine whether the land you're standing on curves away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. And to claim otherwise is asinine.
Eratosthenes.
Yes, despite the vacuous claims of the globe propagandists, 8 inches per mile squared is very accurate over all visible distances as proven by AutoCAD.
He's got it done like by miles, by feet, by inches, from like the first mile, second, third, 70, and that's why I say 6 feet. Like again, this is Pythagoras and the Earth curve, the calculator. This is the globies. They gave us these calculations. We just debunked them. Like,
but isn't it pathetic that sticks and shadows are the best the globe proponents can do to attempt to prove the curvature of the Earth? That was actually one of the reasons why I became a flat earther, because the globe arguments are so weak. Anyways, let's watch a quick segment of his video.
I'm going to test if the Earth is flat or not. And to do that, I actually need to go somewhere where it's super flat. So that's why I'm going to Regina, Saskatchewan in Canada, and I'm going to measure and calculate the size of the Earth using just my bicycle and 2 sticks. This is not a joke. And since it's very flat here and there are no mountains to go around or hills to go over, this is one of the longest straight roads in the whole world. And that's why I'm here.
As stated by the bicyclist, the Regina area is very flat, and debunking the bicyclist was the primary reason Mike chose Highway 33 for this laser test. Let's get to it.
I've driven
the blue laser was set up
multiple times since like my 20s, and I can assure you it's friggin' flat, man. There's part of friggin' Canada where it's you're going for hours and hours and hours and fucking hours and hours, like ridiculous.
Up at about 5 feet off of the railroad tracks. Here's a map and the coordinates for the laser. A big thank you to Mike, Scott, and the other Mike for conducting these tests. At first, Mike drove 10 kilometers away from the laser, which is 6.2 miles. Not a big deal. As you can see from this online calculator, which is very accurate, the target hidden height would only be 8 feet under the globe. But Mike still shouldn't have been able to see it from inside his car. Now, all the footage you're going to watch was filmed by a cell phone. Not the greatest, but it's enough. So let's watch the video.
Oh, hey Scott. Yeah, it's Mike here. So yeah, I'm at exactly 10 kilometers on a crossroad, just like you are. And so yeah, just give me a second here. I'll switch the camera around. And yeah, you can shoot that laser down if you can. Oh yeah. Come to the right. Come to your right. Yeah, there you go. Whoa. Perfect. Stop right there. Oh, go back to your left a little bit. A teeny bump. Yeah. Oh yeah, nice. A little bit to your left. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, beautiful. That comes almost right to my face. Yeah, go to your left a tiny bit more. Yeah.
Go to the left again.
Yeah, a little teeny bit. Yeah, teeny bit.
Well, it's like nothing.
And like right there, perfect, bang on.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Now, for this next segment, Mike was 14.3 kilometers or 8.9 miles. According to Globe Math, at that distance, Mike would have to be 25 feet high to see the laser if we lived on a globe. Obviously, he's not. Already, the globe model is clearly debunked.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm at 14.3 kilometers.
Did you just drive straight down the tracks?
No, down the highway. Yeah, down the train track.
Oh my God. I freaking love the people on my channel. I really do. Not all, not the trolls that try to call me out like yesterday. This guy's in the special forces and he's like, you were not in the special forces. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm like showing plaques, certificates with my name on it. And it's like, well, what does that say? Joint Task Force 2. Oh, what does that say? Special Forces. And then I'm like showing like my CSIS coins, my RCMP coins. Like I could show friggin'. Anyway, where was I going with this shit? Oh yeah, so like I call out people in the special forces too, because I was, and like I've said, like I've lost friends that I've known for years, including in the special forces and stuff like that. I don't like saying this because they sold out, in my humble opinion, and I hate saying that, but it's people that know the fucking reality of the world, know what's going on, know what went on with me this whole fucking time, and even in the last few months, I've lost friends again because I'm like, you're still doing nothing about this, and it's been years. I'm like, how much do me and Helen have to go through, and other people I can't even name? Still, I'm like, how much do we have to fucking go through before you see this as a fucking problem for you? And this guy that I'm talking about too, I fucking like, I love this guy like a fucking like just, you know, and it's been like at least a month and we haven't talked, and we used to talk literally day and night for years about international stuff, right? And like I had to fucking stop that. Anyway, and it's so this is our stuff. Anyway, I've got the Farmer's Almanac. It's stuff that I've been tracking too for years. I have like last year's as well that I'll probably take a look at if I can find it. But this is the 2024 Farmer's Almanac, and so this is Eclipse page. It's on page 102, which I also find interesting. Oh no, I didn't want to do that at all. This is what I wanted to do. And so you've got the March 24, 25 penumbral eclipse of the moon. And by the way, I pre-ordered this last year and got this like last year. So it's not even new or anything like that for this season. And so April 8th, total eclipse of the sun. Total eclipse of the heart. I'm just going to take off the background so you can friggin' see it. Because I don't want you to think I'm lying about this shit. And I get where people are coming from because there's a lot of liars out there, but I try to be as truthful as possible. And if I'm incorrect with my information, it's because I just look possibly at like the wrong research, or I'm just like not wrapping my head around things properly. But you just correct me on it, and I'll try to get better. Yeah, sure enough, this eclipse is visible from North America except for Alaska. It will begin at 11:42 a.m. EDT and end at 4:52 p.m. EDT. This goes off the Saros cycle and stuff like that as well for predicting astrological stuff, as people have already alluded to. The narrow path of totality in the U.S. extends northeast from Texas to Maine, crossing primarily through parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. In Canada, it runs from southern Ontario to the island of Newfoundland, crossing through parts of southern Quebec, New Brunswick, and PEI, Prince Edward Island. For most other regions of North America, a partial eclipse will be visible. It is safe to look directly at the eclipse only during the brief period of totality. At all other times, you will need safety equipment such as eclipse glasses or a solar filter. See Behold Nature's Grand Set Evening, page 158. And September 17, 18, there's going to be a partial eclipse of the moon. And October 2nd, annular eclipse of the sun. So I've said this too. I'm like eclipse season usually is around the equinox periods. Okay, there's no coincidence in that either. It's not just so October 2nd of this year, which can also be seen as 2-8 or 8-2. Anyway, this eclipse is not visible from North America, although a partial eclipse will be 5:43 a.m. and end at 11:47 a.m. The moon's path across the sky changes with the seasons. Full moons are very high in the sky at midnight between November and February, and very low in the sky between May and July. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. So I also think that the luminaries, like, but the moon also, I think that it like, not as much as the sun, obviously, I'm not saying that, but I think it also impacts the seasons. I can go on more on this, but I wanted to show my farmer's almanac as well. I want to see other conversations about the almanac, because I'm sure that brought up some comments. Oh, that's so cool. An almanac from the 1800s. That's pretty cool. I think my sister might have one, actually. She looks at old books, and she's been like friggin' right out of the womb, like a farmer and a gardener and stuff like that, and has stuck with it throughout consistently, never a season off. Anyway, for 40-something years.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. Oh, yeah, stop right there. Beautiful.
You can't see this. I'm so sorry. I'll rewind a little bit.
Oh, a little bit. Oh, yeah, stop right there. Beautiful. Man, do I ever love that tripod.
Yeah.
You're shooting right at my car. Okay, now hold on. I want to see if that's oh my God, that would be reflecting off my car. Here we go. All right, guys, that laser is reflecting off my car at 14.1 kilometers, and we've caged. They probably think it's just a train coming down the highway.
Look at that.
The train coming
The
down
source
the
of the
highway.
laser is visible, and it's reflecting off of the car. That is a direct line of sight. There are no magical bulge-removing refraction.
I'll take a look for it as well. Thank you so much, Michelle. She's got the timestamp and everything from last night's show. That was fast, because that was even I'm late on the draw with this, but for the almanac. And so Dave from the Sovereign Soul Mind Unchained, great guy. I debated with him, and he also spanked Ozian and Craig, a nuclear engineer, and he's like a veteran and like freaking blue collar type, and just like embarrassing them on the loss of fucking nature and stuff like that, and gas pressure, stuff like that. It's hilarious to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It's because you just don't expect that.
Fairies causing that.
It's so funny.
Next is at 18.6 kilometers or 11.56 miles. Now, Mike would have to be around 52 feet high to see the laser, according to the globe. But he's obviously able to see the source of the laser again. Anyways, let's check it out.
Yeah, 18 is, yeah, it's right on the railroad tracks. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, perfect. It looks like there's like a, yeah, right. A little bit more. Perfect. Again, it's shining right on. Yeah, absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I can easily go I'll go another 10 easily. This is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
You're 66 feet below the point that you're standing then, eh?
Oh, yeah, well, exactly.
I'm just going to show you the Earth curve calculations from Pythagoras' model. If it comes up again, maybe I freaking closed it down. God damn it, why does it keep doing that? Hold up. Is it going to come up? Okay, there we go. Just to give you some people that are watching this generally have an idea, but this is the miles. Okay, so let's say, let's see here. Oh my God, of course. Okay, so what did he say? Was it 12 kilometers or 13 kilometers? Approximately, let's just say 7 miles. There would be 32 feet of alleged curvature covering his vehicle. 32 feet. I'm 5'4.5". That's just to give you some perspective on that. Okay, and so I think it's like 7.5. So that's even giving grace to the globies.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Mike, what are you at? What distance are you at?
I'm at 18.6 kilometers.
Next, we're at 22.4 kilometers or 13.9 miles. That's a curvature drop of 83 feet that should be hidden behind the globe bulge.
Again,
You're at 25?
I'm at 22.4.
Oh, that's close enough.
Yeah, but I can keep going. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, I can finally see it now. A little bit, tiny.
Okay, you guys, you like it high.
Yeah, right there. Go higher. Yeah, okay, a little bit more. Perfect. A little bit.
See it?
Yeah, it's getting more. It looks like a big circle to me.
I'm not touching it now, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll go with that. Yeah, let's just leave it at that, and I'll go a little further. Or
Next, we're at 26.3 kilometers or 16.3 miles. Under the globe model, the laser should have been 123 feet below the Earth's curvature.
There, even more. Oh my God.
Okay.
Come on.
yeah, I'm at 26.3.
Oh my
Oops.
God.
But before we get to the laser test, listen to this discussion Scott, the gentleman
These
manning the
miles,
laser,
kilometers.
has with the passerby who is curious about what was going on. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, sorry if it bothered you, but curious, right? Yeah, you know, I see a laser shining down the road. Well, we're conducting to disprove the globe is what we're actually doing. Because on the tangent of a ball, any straight line after 10 miles is supposed to be a 66-foot drop.
After 10 miles, let me take a look at the drop, exactly what Pythagoras says. Yep, 66.68.
And it's like it would be best conducted over a surface of water, actually, because that's unmanipulatable, right? This could be wavy like this, but this is the longest, straightest surveyed track in North America. Did you know
He must be so incredibly proud of, oh my God. He's literally, this man from Canada, again, another friggin' man that just proved this globe model is bullshit.
This, whatever, track's 33, 140 some kilometers. Longest, straightest surveyed track in North America. So we're just doing this.
Wow.
But, yeah. Yes, we will. Thank you for stopping.
All right, Scott. Right on, man.
Yeah, we're good.
Good job, Scott.
Good job, Scott.
You're going to turn it back on or what?
That's perfect, Scott. That's good that you talked to him there. Yeah.
He is just curious. He wasn't mad.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, now we're way off track.
Yeah, the railway line.
I can. Yeah, there you go.
So these are other areas that you can use in Canada or the US. There's old abandoned railway tracks and stuff like that. Even in the Gaspésie, if people wanted to go there, I go to the Gaspésie fairly regularly. It's the east coast of Quebec. There's a lot to see there, but there's also a lot of tracks that are more in the remote areas, and I know the area, and so I could take you to train tracks that are literally in the middle of the woods. And as a little girl, I would cross these tracks a lot on quads and stuff like that. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be perfect right there, Scott. Yeah. This thing, we're gonna break the record. I only have to go another 6 kilometers to break the distance of this laser. So.
Okay, you go do that lane.
Yeah. So I'll go to 30 or whatever I can go to next. Okay.
Next, we're at 29.8 kilometers or 18.5 miles. This is about the same distance of our Bear Lake test. And the curvature of the Earth, if it were real, should have hid 165 feet behind it.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, 29.8 kilometers.
25.8.
29.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we'll try to do 33 if we can
It's
get
like
this one working.
30, almost 31 times my height.
Yeah. Oh, and now it's okay. Yeah. Whatever you're doing there is good.
It's crazy.
Just yeah. Okay, it's coming on the tracks again. Yeah, keep it perfect. Absolutely perfect, right there. Okay, good. We confirmed that one. I'm going to 33 kilometers, and we're going to call her quits.
Let's get to Mike's final test at 32.6 kilometers or 20.26 miles. Based on the globe model, Mike would have to be 205 feet up to see the bright laser source.
Ridiculous.
Or you can also say the laser source should have been 205 feet below the globe bulge. 205 feet is huge.
Yeah, 32.6 kilometers. Yeah, just keep bringing it down or whatever. Yeah, okay, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. A little bit more. If you can, yeah, okay. And oh, it's right there. One little bit more. Yeah, well, whatever that happened. Yeah, okay, that was good. So yeah, this confirms 33 kilometers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you still see it?
Yeah, I can just see it in the phone. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, guys are flashing us again.
Yeah. You want me to? I'll head back now.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll hold this up then.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we could have even went further, guys. That thing goes a long ways.
Was it a blue laser?
I confirmed. Here we go.
Blue violet laser would be
Confirmed the
longer
distance.
distance than
Call it
red laser or green laser.
2.6. Call it 33. Call it whatever you want.
I know.
But that's what we did.
Here are the coordinates mapped out for you as well with the final test coordinates. According to Google Maps, that's presumably a distance of 21.17 miles, or a globe hidden of 227 feet. That's actually a little bit better than my Great Salt Lake test, and Mike says he's going to try for even further. So stay tuned. I hope he succeeds. There you have it, 21.2 miles on a well-surveyed flat ground. The laser should have been 227 feet below the horizon. As we have proven again and again, there's absolutely no globe curvature, whether over water, land, or ice, oceans, lakes, ground, it doesn't matter. If there's no curvature at 21 miles, there's no curvature anywhere. And that means there is no globe. Welcome.
Boom. Okay, just got a couple more just because of the discussions in the chat. I was up like 3 a.m. So this is from Dave. Total eclipse of the sun.
Eclipse traverse a large area of the United States. Then, if the charts of Appalachia can be trusted, two totalitarians near midday will occur on the region of the Mississippi. The first of them, 21st August 2017, with a line from Oregon to South Carolina. So yeah, this is this is pretty interesting. I'll let me link that to you all, the Twitter page for that. Let me copy that and
thank you.
Do that. Just 1 second. That's not it. That's a Lost History of Flat Earth I just put in there. That's a good one.
Oh yeah,
and I'll put this back in the private chat over
The
here.
History of Flat Earth by Eric Dubay is really good, and The Lost History of Flat Earth by Urbanal is really good. Yeah, really good for starter ones as well. And there's so many good videos out there, though.
It
Oh my
says
god!
Taking Back Eden.
Oh, there's so many good
books of Adam and Eve, Chrome. What's that thing you've got back there? Taking Back Eden. or no longer on the ball.
Oh, just something I thought taking
Oh.
back Eden would be interested in.
Okay.
If he's ever heard of it, it's the book of Adam and Eve.
Oh, interesting. Yes, I have heard of that. That's pretty interesting. And there's a first Adam and Eve and a second Adam and Eve, isn't there?
Yeah, that's just
If I'm
the
not
first book.
mistaken.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing I'm interested in getting a hold of is trying to find out all of the lost or ripped out by our trying to be nice, the Catholic Church.
Yeah, great idea.
And get all of those indexed into the wiki, and then also the references that are FE related, all listed out, because everybody knows all these Bible verses that are FE related, and some of them are a stretch, some of them are pretty good ones.
Did you know that science seems to be verifying biblical claims? Like, did you guys know that it's been shown the human rib can regenerate?
I've heard teeth can regenerate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it's incredible how the Bible mentioned the rib, and if you look at the rib, it's got DNA in the rib, and if it could regenerate, it makes sense that God can take it and use it because it already has the DNA code in there. And if you look at the structure of the rib, it almost reminds me of like a physical manifestation as our rib cage, how it's got the double helix, and also our ribs I think we have a set of 12 pairs, so 24 ribs in total, 24 hours a day.
Some people have different
12
sets.
months.
That's all interesting stuff.
And our spine, supposedly, I believe, has 33 vertebrae in our spine.
I mean, I love these conversations too. I'm going to let this play out a little bit because I enjoy like a few of these people that I see the names. I actually enjoy these people, like listening to them or reading comments that they make. So I'm going to let it play out a bit. Rib, though, fun fact, there's some translations from Hebrew where it could be possibly interpreted as side or equal. And so Adam and Eve, like the creation story, could possibly be misinterpreted as well. And so like there's people that believe that Eve was inferior to Adam because she was created by his rib, but it could possibly be like a misinterpretation again, like where they were both created equal under the eyes of fucking God, fudging God. And he's correct though. Like there are with the 33 vertebrae in the spine and the age that Jesus Christ allegedly died on the cross, and the 33 that are used in countless occult groups as well. And I could go on a tangent, but I'm just gonna let this play out a bit.
Jesus died when he was 33. There's the 33 levels of Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Wow, here's a page from the CIA. This is kind of interesting.
Like he's a veteran. I think now he like is in construction, and he's friggin' brilliant. And like literally randomly out of the blue, he's just like, "Oh, here's a friggin' document from the CIA." Like, you should find this a little impressive.
Yes, our friends, and this is a outer gravitational field and shape of the physical surface of the Earth.
Oh, that's cool.
A study is made of the conditions necessary for the solvability and uniqueness of solution of an integral equation by the aid of which outer gravitational field and the shape of the physical surface of the Earth may be determined. Said that it's a geoid.
Yeah.
The overwhelming majority of all geodetic survey, leveling, triangulation, astronomical, and gravimetric determinations are made of the Earth's surface. After much calculation, they are first reduced to a geoidal surface, which is considerably more even. If these surveys embrace a large area, second reduction is necessary from a geoid to an ellipsoid surface, which is more convenient mathematically. What? The system now adopted for reduction to a geoid and to an ellipsoid from a geoid is inadequate. It is possible inherent contradictions since various parts of the terrestrial gravitational field are reduced on the basis of different hypotheses, which are sometimes contradictory.
Oh,
consequently, the resulting
with NASA, just like the deceit within occult groups, the deceit within religious groups, the deceit from like government agencies, organizations, and all of that stuff, is that there's a lot of truth mixed in with a lot of lies. And this is what is keeping us stuck. This is what is keeping us. This is what I keep saying, because of the unpredictability and stuff like that. And there are some things that we can trust, but there's most certainly stuff that we cannot trust. And that's with like friggin' everyone in the mainstream media now, and our elected officials now, and people that are supposed to be experts. And like I said, like myself and people like me who fell on our fucking swords, people that were highest levels of government, our careers were going like above and beyond, right? People that were selected very early on, like even at RMC and beyond, to be just like because of how you do and perform at RMC, like your career and your life is basically essentially dictated for you, right? Like and your anyway. And so we sacrificed everything in order to tell the truth, right? Because there are some good people that like if things are happening, or you discover things or see the truth for what it is, like there are people like that we're seeing that will cover it up, you know, like all they have to do is just say something like get someone to say like, oh, like don't say anything, you know, like, oh, okay, I won't say anything. Morons like that, right, should not be working in government, right? And so unfortunately now the people like myself and Helen Bruce and others I can't even name, or some I can, like Jeremy McKenzie and others like that, who are speaking out publicly on a regular basis about not just flat earth stuff, but 9/11, JFK, January 6th, Freedom Convoy, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine, people that are talking about all of that stuff. Our lives have been destroyed. I don't know. I'm laughing about stuff that's not really funny, but yeah, it's unfortunate because NASA does share some things that are facts, but there's things that are blatant lies, right? So like there's a lot of stuff on like flat non-rotating Earth that's out there that I've even shared, and Army publications and countless other scientific documents that question and completely debunk what we're taught about gravity and so many other things. And even with John Searle and his Levy disk, you know, the SEG and stuff like that, these are all capabilities and stuff like that that are continuing to be shut down and censored by people like Buzz Aldrin, these fucking losers, and James Webb, people that are part of like human trafficking pedophile rings. And this involves like the highest levels of not just our governments, but royalty. Okay, who was just named in the P. Diddy case, Prince Harry. And Prince Andrew or whatever, these fucking, it's a family affair. And I've talked also about like the Queen and her visits to Canada, especially in the northern regions, and children that went missing and people that were caught on video and camera. Same thing. I guess not, but trying to escape Buckingham Palace naked. And there's so much more I can talk about. The Pope is in on this shit, like high levels of the UN, high levels of the Red Cross, the high levels of the CIA. Because even with the CIA, there's people that are, the majority of people are being duped. Just like the military, just like law enforcement. These people are getting fucking duped by morons. And who is the head of RCMP? Or who was during all of this stuff? It was Brenda Lucky. Her whole thing was DEI and woke shit. Okay. And even years ago, like I was literally calling her out and saying like how are you the head of the RCMP? When my resume blows yours out of the fucking water, and I've worked with the highest levels of RCMP as well. I showed you the coins. You only get coins if you've worked with them at the highest levels. And yeah, and I've worked with the emergency response teams and stuff like that as well. The chief of police of Ottawa, when I was still serving, wanted me to quit and be head of the TAC team in Ottawa. And I was like, I'm not doing that. There's other things I want to do. And I became incorporated in 2018 because I was seeing that there was people within government or working with government, private security and other companies that were lying and duping people within government. And I really took offense to that because I'm like, you're fucking losers, because people that I know and care about are in these organizations still and risking their lives, and people that I know have died. And so for me, as someone that was an officer and in my roles since, I've been in the like in the leadership role, right? The course coordinator, the training coordinator, the consultant, the analyst, the executive protection specialist. I'm looking out for others, so the safety and the welfare of others always. And so if there's things being done, like people like Wayne Eyre, the chief of defense staff, this fucking moron, who is such a beta soy boy, and he's destroyed the Canadian Armed Forces. And for years, I've called him out as well, because I've tried personally to email him repeatedly, and I have those sent messages as well, showing him the same data that Helen Bruce was sending to the chief of police, right? We were trying our networks, because we had good careers within our networks and good reputations. And she had over 20 plus years with Ottawa Police Services and working on contracts with me, unrelated to the OPS, for training the higher levels of Canadian government, the people that respond to natural and man-made disasters internationally. And so I was sending shit to Wayne Eyre to start, and other people at the RCMP and my contacts at CSIS and CBSA and RCM and CSIS and shit like that, if I haven't already mentioned that. But a lot of people from the military of varying backgrounds and international security as well, and UN and NATO, and fucking still people are just not listening. They're not listening because they're brainwashed. And and for her going up to like chief of police level, like she's got suspended and charged, and she's a fucking hero. She was still trying to make the Freedom Convoy peaceful, because we were saying don't do the same shit that the cops were doing on January 6th, and or the crisis actors that were pretending they were law enforcement. I'm like, don't do that shit, and don't trick other people or other law enforcement into over responding. And that was what was happening. And we were trying every day through the whole freaking Freedom Convoy bullshit to make it as peaceful as possible. And it was law enforcement and government, like Marco Minichino, who was a fucking public safety officer, and Bill Blair, and these psychopaths that were the ones that were escalating everything. They were the ones that were fucking and people that were crisis actors, they were escalating things, and people within government, they were escalating things. And I was showing pictures to even my contacts with the special forces of videos of people doing their roles. And I'm like, is this you guys? And it's like, okay, no, not our guys, but I know who they are. And he's like, that's fucking stupid. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. So why is anyone doing this fucking stupid stuff? Get out of here, anyway, and at risk to myself. And of course I was fucking targeted during that. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm going on these tangents. I'm just going to keep going, because he's talking about CIA shit and government stuff and NASA. And I'm like, man, I've talked with people in even in the space agency. I'm talking to someone to get a meeting with like the new head of the space agency in Canada, someone that's worked in and around him and stuff like that. But to talk with Kyle Paul. So check him out on LinkedIn, Kyle Paul. So I try to get information to people at risk to myself, and people just completely just think I'm fucking crazy, despite the fact that they be crazy, right? I even people that I've talked to, I'm like, you thought that I was a conspiracy theorist 4 years ago or 5 years ago when I was saying that there was pedophiles at the highest levels of fucking government and royalty and Vatican and stuff like that, and Hollywood. And I'm like, and look what's coming out now, 5 years later, 6 years later. So how stupid do you look now? When for years, like you were, like I was, again, so with all the fucking accolades I have and stuff like that. So when I'm sharing information and giving you facts and data, and you're fucking it off again, like it's just, this is, I don't know. I just can't believe that we haven't learned from the past yet. We've gotten worse. Canada government got worse. And that's why veterans and people that have like a lot of time in, they're so disheartened, because they're like, the last 10 years, but especially like the last 5 years, like, oh my God, all levels of government have been desecrated.
Discrepancies can be of the systematic character. These discrepancies can noticeably reduce the accuracy of results in mountain regions or after a geodetic translation over mountain regions. So basically saying we got to measure it flat and then bend it. That's what we got to do.
Diddy is totally taking the friggin' fall. Another person taking a fall for there. Oh my God, there's so many bigger friggin' fish. Oh my God, I keep on saying oh my God, but there's so many bigger fish to fry peacefully, obviously, than him. Like why is no one looking at even Oprah? Why aren't people looking at Bill Gates? Why are people not looking at the Clintons? Why are people not looking at the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds? Why are people not looking at, like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, guys. And that's why there's so many people that have been pushing for the list that they're just choosing their fall people. And we're never going to get like the reality of what happened. Ghislaine Maxwell, Like she's in a yoga retreat, for a friggin' prison sentence. And it's disgusting to me. Like, she should be fucking max prison, solitary confinement, maximum sentence, and thousands of other people that are still in government. Yeah. Not wrong. Not wrong.
I've been looking for. There's a document. Apparently, it's the 50s.
Oh yeah, I was asked.
Where they were.
I was asked if I don't believe in NASA. Do I? I don't believe. I don't believe in anyone until I look at measurable, observable, repeatable evidence or data. And I've shared documents that are from NASA's whatever you want to call it, archives, information that's been unclassified or declassified, and which talk about the this being a flat, non-rotating stationary Earth. And so that's what I'm talking about. There is some information that you can get or extrapolate that they're trying to hide now. Like, they've been burying that and archiving that for years. But this is information that if you know how to get access to it, you can still get it. But they're trying to hide it. You're right. And so yeah, for these documents, you have to get a VPN. So that's a virtual private network. You have to start there, and you have to connect from different countries. Because there's different censorship in different countries. And then if you're not getting the site, like if it's a dead link or whatever, you can go on something called the Wayback Machine. And I know most people that watch this know that, but if you go on the Wayback Machine and you copy the link and you put it into the Wayback Machine and you press enter, there'll be like a series of timestamps of like when there was additions made or retractions, whatever you want to call it, to articles or data. And so if you go back far enough, you can retrieve that information. And there's other ways as well. It's really friggin' hard, but because they're definitely trying to hide the stuff that people wanted to get out there. And they're getting really good at it. And that's why I also think there's going to be more blackouts and what they're calling cyber attacks and stuff like that, because way more people are into the truther stuff in 2024 than in the last 10 years. So I don't know.
Some sort of device that accurately measured the height of the firmament.
Oh, for sure. And this
really,
yeah,
the government was.
They have some organizations within NASA that do real scientific and engineering work and stuff like that, and they're not involved at all in the bullshit and the lies, and which is unfortunate too. Even in the space agencies and space. Whatever you want to call it, or business companies, there are people that are absolutely actors and lying, like the astronauts. I hate to break it to you if you're just tuning in. All your astronaut idols, they're all actors, and they're on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They have their own friggin' stars. And Stanley Kubrick directed some of the footage. And there's just I'm sorry, I do hate to break it to you. There are people that had dreams of being in outer space and making all these advancements and stuff like that, but that's not going to be the way to do it.
Involved in that,
and even the CIA has been the ones that have been involved with the productions of the major Hollywood films that have come out over the years, like the big friggin' huge motion pictures and stuff like that, for decades. For decades, the CIA is your Hollywood directors. Wrap your head around that. Not everyone within the CIA, and there's different CIA branches and organizations within North America and the world. And that's why there's truth and there's lies all within the same fucking umbrella companies. It's just such a mind fuck. Sorry for swearing.
50s. And I was wondering if you remember what the operation name of that was or anything.
I think it had something to do with high jump.
And that too.
Where they found that. There's your mobile harp.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's your mobile harp.
You
Station
on screen
right
is an
there.
actor.
Man, you know what? That image really explains a lot to me. Because there is a machine. I mean, from what's going on around here, I'm right on the coast, and I can tell that where this stuff is being generated is just off the coast, but not from any particular spot. So that thing's just ideal. They can cruise around and hit coastlines without being seen. Because we're all on land and they're just out of view.
Great point.
And then obviously they just do the chemtrails from the army bases.
Yep.
Speaking of well, he's saying chemical trails, but particulates, whatever, I don't know what you would call them, will be sprayed, dispersed possibly throughout the atmos in and around eclipse time as well, just so the visibility will be poor. They've been doing that now for the last few years, like even during full moon, new moon periods, like when you want to see it at night, like it's been largely overcast. And I think it's because of stuff that they're spraying into the atmosphere, or the atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, that absorbs the moisture and in the heat, stuff like that, and expands and then can cause, cloud coverage and stuff like that. And it looks like it's not natural patterns of cloud coverage. So it looks like there's some kind of like frequencies or waves or whatever that are also like pushing them out to disperse even further in a non-natural pattern. Back to
steer hurricanes and all kinds of garbage with those things right into the land to make it extra damaging. That's been proven by satellite footage of heat spots along from chemtrails. They're putting metals up in the air.
Taking back Eden, FE, he was on Journism when Journ was doing his Speaker's Corner. And he's showing, so he doesn't just do the religious angle for flat Earth, but he also looks at reflections and different types of like light sources and stuff like that, and also shows like what NASA shows on their sites for images of like the sun and the moon and all this stuff. Like he's clearly showing how obviously fake it is as well, and how impossible it would be based on their globe Earth model with how the sun, reflects its rays and stuff like that, and like showing even NASA showing like these like localized hotspots and stuff like that. So very interesting. And so it's good that he actually gets out and goes on other speakers corners and stuff like that as well to get the content out, because it builds the web of connections.
Here. And they hit it with these little antennas, like these little harp domes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just made that one tornado that was probably a decade ago or something. It came in through Florida
and silver iodide and fiberglass now, and what they're calling chaff or chafe in the military, and they're all denying it, because I just got access to information requests just again. From a friend that submits like a bunch of them, Ethos and Eris on Discord. I would highly recommend taking a look at that Discord page, because there's so many access to information requests that have been submitted and provided, even for like the CSIS stuff with the Freedom Convoy and like what made them declare the Emergency Act and who voted on it and who wasn't, like all of that stuff. You get that at this fucking page, and we talk on a regular basis too. So if you have any questions, he can probably submit something for you. And but they denied any of that stuff being dispersed. So we were saying by military, by private companies, by not-for-profits, by all of these things, and then they're like, nope, none of these doesn't happen. And it's like they just admitted that they did that in Alberta just a few months ago. And so why the lie? Why are you fucking lying? Why are you lying? And they don't care that they're lying to us, because the leaders of the fucking political parties are lying under oath.
Or something like that, where normally they go north up the coastline. This one went inland, and it did more damage than all others type of thing in history.
We had some big ass storms come through Ohio and shit the other day too.
Earthquake in New York yesterday, or New Jersey.
Some tornadoes down through southern Ohio. That was pretty bad. I don't know if you know Terry, the Ironton auditor, but he went out and took some video of some of the storm damage that took place. That was, what is this during the? Oh yeah, here's some footage during the earthquake.
4.8 magnitude. Interesting. I did want to show, because someone else had made a comment like a little while ago regarding Crow 777. And so I did want to share something from him as well that I had up. I think, is this the one? Double trouble, solar eclipse and comet, a malefic pair. And this was posted 3 weeks ago. And let's see what's
Pro
discussed.
777 radio. This is episode, let me see here. It's 568.5, although it's not really a 0.5. We just named it that because we didn't want to renumber everything we already had. Jason Lindgren is joining me, as is Wayne McCroy, and we're talking about the full solar eclipse that will occur in America. It's actually a double whammy. There's supposedly a comet there. What they're saying right now is that during totality, we'll see a number of planets. I think it's Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Mars. I think there's one or two that you can't see without a scope or something like that. But the comet may be visible during totality. The problem with comets is the media always misreports and tries to blow them up bigger than they are. But you should be aware that this comet's been named since
The media always misreports comets. Interesting.
the 1800s, and now the media has taken to call it the devil comet. We're going to cover everything you need to know here. It's a double whammy. Eclipses, solar, are negative events, malefic, as are comets. Our one is free to everybody at crow777radio.com. Members know to log in for the full episode. Members get access to all the forums. They can also create them. They get access to all the comments, and they can view the 2-hour film called Shoot the Moon anytime they like. And the sun we do not see, which I will be working to prove exists. I know it does, but I've got to prove it. That footage is also on Shoot the Moon. With that, I'd like to wish you all a happy, healthy, and higher-minded new era, and I hope to see you logged in as a member. There it is, man. Cheers.
Is this just an advertisement for Shoot the Moon? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, there's pretty good stuff here. Let's see what the most recent video is. Let's see here. Latest. Okay.
All right, man. Welcome to Crow 777 Radio. This is a bumper for episode 571. Jason Lindgren is with me, and Randy Masters returns. And of course, with Randy, we are going to cover the foundations of what it means to be in the 3D material world. We're going to talk primarily about vibration and the fact that all things are connected. But consider this. If you take our medicine, which is primarily synthetic chemicals, which many of which trace back to the petrochemical industry, what would the vibrational rate be of said things? Now, if we went over to holistic healing ideas and all that's based on plants, what would be...
Okay, so with Crow 777, there's a website. It is one that you have to pay for. I will show it to you. And it's because he was talking about Shoot the Moon. So Shoot the Moon movie, which what he was just talking about, is restricted content. It is accessible to paid members. So if you want to look at it, you can do that. And I will leave it for that. And let me see. Let's see let's look at Googling Devil's Comet. I was going to take off just to walk the dogs. But now I'm curious what people are saying about it. Someone's talking about 2029, solar eclipse, how to spot the Devil's Comet. There's so many funny things. Oh my God, that are being shared for this. Anyway. On that note, I will leave it at that. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.